Namaste and peace, my soul friends. We had a streaming issue this morning, and I'm recording this instead. So, welcome to our Wednesday group meditation. Jesus said, "Where two or three are gathered, I am there." And that's why we gather together to meditate. The divine energy is present. Meditation is essential when cultivating a peace-filled heart. We're going to come to that. But before we begin, I want to mention that Sharon, one of our members, is in the hospital with a blood infection in Canada. Her doctors have stopped all chemo going forward as her body just can't take it. So let's pause just a moment and silently keep Sharon in our hearts and prayers. Today's title is The Bravery of Peace, Why Nonviolent Protest is the Way Forward. Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. were mystics in their own right because their activism transcended politics. It was grounded in direct, lived experience of the divine, of God. Both men drew strength, strategy, and moral clarity from contemplative practice and spiritual conviction. For them, nonviolence was not simply a tactic. It was an expression of their inner union with God. Gandhi referred to his life as a continual, quote, experiment with truth. He practiced nonviolence and soul force as spiritual disciplines rooted in prayer, fasting, silence, and meditation. His courage and compassion stemmed from his inner communion with what he referred to as truth or God, terms he used interchangeably. His mysticism was embodied. His entire life was a spiritual path that sought not only personal liberation, but collective transformation. His ability to love even his oppressors demonstrated a soul purified by humility and divine awareness. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was shaped by the Black church tradition, steeped in the language of the prophets and the practices of prayer and inner renewal. His mountaintop vision, which he spoke of the night before he died, was not merely metaphorical. It was mystical insight. His commitment to love his enemies, to meet hate with love, and to suffer redemptively stemmed from an intimate relationship with God. Dr. King often spoke of being called by a power greater than himself, and that divine connection sustained his courage. His vision of the beloved community was not simply social, it was spiritual, a glimpse of heaven here on earth. And both Gandhi and King lived from the inside out. Their mysticism was practical, active, and transformative. They remind us that real change begins in the soul and that the path of peace isn't weakness, but strength, deep strength that comes from abiding in love, capital L, and love itself. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Disobedience without civility, discipline, discrimination, nonviolence is certain destruction. Disobedience combined with love is the living water of life." And he said, nonviolence is the summit of bravery. And in my own experience, I have had no difficulty in demonstrating to men trained in the school of violence the superiority of nonviolence. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "In spite of temporary victories, violence never brings permanent peace." And he said, "The aftermath of nonviolence is the creation of the beloved community, while the aftermath of violence is tragic bitterness." And We adopt the means of nonviolence because our end is a community of at peace with itself. And these just aren't words of historical wisdom. They serve as a map for the moral and spiritual survival of any people seeking justice. Gandhi and King were both mystics, and they understood that true transformation doesn't begin with the weapon, but with the soul. Nonviolence isn't a sign of weakness, it's restraint born of a higher strength. It demands inner discipline, fierce love, and clarity of purpose, calling us to resist injustice without becoming what we resist. Violence may achieve a momentary result, but it can't create lasting peace. It breeds fear, revenge, and the cycles of trauma. The fruit of nonviolence, by contrast, is reconciliation, restoration, and the birth of what Dr. King called the beloved community. This isn't idealism, it's tested truth. Gandhi saw it firsthand in India. King lived it on the streets of Birmingham and Montgomery. And both paid with their lives, not in vain, but as seeds of transformation. If we seek a future not built on rubble, but on relationship, not on bitterness, but on belonging, we must follow their lead. Nonviolent protest is the safest, most spiritually sound path forward because it aligns our outer struggle with our inner truth. That love is stronger than hate and peace more powerful than war. So as we meditate, let's sit in silence together, holding Gandhi's and Dr. King's witness in our hearts. And when we rise at the end of our meditation, let's carry that peace into the world, not as an idea, but as a living force. Let your breath now carry the same courage. So if you would, please close your eyes just for a moment. And with each inhale, draw in the soul force, the life force, the energy, God. And with each exhale, release anything that keeps you from love. Inhale the soul force. Exhale anything that keeps us from love. Tonglen again. Silently say within, make me an instrument of your peace. May I act with fierce compassion. May I resist without hate and live in the strength of love. I'll see you in about 20 minutes as we meditate together. Peace and love, my friends.